informer who said that I went there and I saw this happening. Hazrat Hudayfatul Sistani was deeply moved and agitated. And he declared that we are going to launch a war against this movement of Shuddhism. And he asked Ahmadis to devote their lives, and then people from every walk of life, lawyers, doctors, and teachers, professors, the laborers, the educated, the uneducated, all alike, they offer their services. And the conditions laid down were simply this, that you have to shift for yourself, support yourself, and only you have to abide by the instructions of Jamaat Ahmadiyya as far as preaching goes. But your responsibilities would be your responsibilities. Your time would be ours. That was the condition. So they went there, and also in detail they were instructed later on that they are not to accept hospitality even if insistently offered by the local people, because some other Muslims had heard of this, and they sent their mullahs, who you know what sort of background they have, particularly regarding food. So they started becoming burdens on these people, and they expected halwas and chicken and things. And those people were very poor. The whole area, which was Muslim in Rajputana, was a rather backward and poor area. So Hazrat Muslim Maud ordered that you must not accept anything at their hands. Instead, if you can afford to give them alms personally, go and help the poor. So Jamaat Ahmadiyya launched a movement, and also appeals were made by other Muslims. And when they heard particularly that Jamaat Ahmadiyya had occupied the field, so they became jealous, and frantically they made every effort to fill that area with other Muslims. The result, whatever it was, it's a long story, I leave it out, but this is in a nutshell what Shuddhi movement was. Ultimately, law and order situation arose there, and the government of India had to interfere, and they tried to bring about a reconciliation between Hindus and Muslims. The result was that a conference was held under the auspices of British government in Delhi, in which, because of the non-Ahmadiyya Muslim majority and their exception to invitation to Ahmadiyya, the government of India did not invite Ahmadiyya community to participate in that reconciliation conference. All the other important sects among the Muslims were invited. Hindus and Aryans particularly, who were the leaders in that movement from Hindu side, they were invited, and the conference was held. So the Hindu leaders got up and said, you want us to reconcile with those from whom we have nothing to fear, who are not our adversaries, they are doing nothing there. The ones we fear, the ones who are real adversaries, they are not here, and they are Ahmadis. So no reconciliation can be reached unless they agree to it. Because if they continue working, the problem is not solved for us. It will be then, if we agree to this, whatever conclusion is reached here, agreement is reached here, the Ahmadis would be free to work on single-handedly, one-sidedly. So the problem would remain hanging in their favor, not in the Hindus' favor. So this objection was raised so strongly, they said no point in holding any conference without Ahmadis. That the British government had to send a telegram to Hazrat Muslim Maud hurriedly to send some delegation, otherwise the conference could not proceed. So Hazrat Sahib sent some delegates and an agreement of some sort was reached. The comments made by the Hindu papers in those days are a great tribute to the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam, and some of them I have quoted in that small pamphlet, Shudi and Jamaat Ahmadiyya. So they are worth reading. And Khilafat movement is also a long story, we better leave it up at the time. So your second of the several questions, please. Have you dropped all of the rest?
Sometimes I'm criticized that I am taking the floor of the time.
All right, you better wait for others. If they have to say something, we'll give them chance. Otherwise, you can come and take up the thread where you left, right? Okay. Any other questions, please? Yes? You want to?
So it's quite disturbing factors, these natural disasters when it comes and cause suffering to humans, like drought and flood, that is not man-made. Usually we know that all the difficulty all the problems are man-made, but these kind of natural disaster does, how far the man is to be responsible. Man is not responsible, but these seem to be.
Yes, I understand your point. First of all, we should understand the philosophy of the national disaster on a larger canvas. The national disaster, as understood by human beings, is just an incomplete story. The true story reaches far behind in history. The true story, in fact, is stretched to billions of years of man's evolution in various stages. And when you try to understand the philosophy of these disasters, as you call them, then you understand that they are not useless and meaningless. They have played a very important role in the history of human development, or the development of life. And they have been blessings in disguise as far as the progress goes. So whether you understand a local disaster in the context of human values or not, if you look back in the history of evolution of life, you can understand easily that these disasters are a part of a general scheme of things under which the whole life is created. And they have played their part and they are not meaningless. So for the sake of a larger interest, smaller individual interests are always sacrificed. This is the principle. So because these disasters play an important role in the scheme of things, that is the scheme of evolution of life and progress of life, so they cannot be just discarded as meaningless or cruel because some individuals suffer. The general philosophy behind these disasters could also be understood when you study the phenomena of life and death as pitched against each other. In fact, as far as the number goes, death predominates life. And at each step in life, millions and millions of individuals are sacrificed. For each childbirth, billions of potentials of life are sacrificed. And again, in the entire universe, you see millions of species and untold number of individuals in various forms, in the various living forms,